What makes the Bahamas special, first of all, is that's where my mother's side of the family's from. I was raised there on and off as a child. It's a place where I really feel comfortable. I live on a small island in a very small town with a small amount of people, and I'm looked at as a local. That's it. And it's really healthy to have a place where people don't project all these images on you, based upon being known and all that. It's just about daily existence, very simple. And so I ended up building a really incredible recording studio there. It has everything that I could ever want. And it's home. It's home. Paris, on the other hand, it is a great balance to that, because in the Bahamas, I live in a trailer on a beach, very simply. It's all about making music, eating out of the garden, eating out of the sea. When I go to Paris, it's the complete opposite. It's a city life, and I live in a house, and I go there when I want to get a cosmopolitan feeling, when I want to go to museums and art galleries and eat rich food and drink wine and go to the opera and the ballet and so the two really balance each other really well for the two extremes that I like. The inspiration that I get from the Bahamas and Paris really is just based upon the energy. It's not like I write better or perform better in one location. What the Bahamas provides is an isolation and a place where I can pick up a lot of music really easily. I hear music all day long there. I dream music. You're in the middle of nature, and somehow the the waves of whatever it is, wherever the music comes from, is very vibrant there. What Paris brings, which was interesting for me, was after I'd been in the bush for so long, recording this music, I then went to Paris, and playing it in Paris, driving around in the car and listening to this music that I'd recorded in the Bahamas, all of a sudden took on a completely different characteristic to me. It sounded completely different in the different location. And also I ended up hearing the things that I were hearing to put on top of what I'd done in Paris was different. It was just a more electric, urban sort of sound. So I ended up doing a lot of synthesizer overdubs and so forth in Paris. My recording studio in Bahamas was just completed before I started this album, so it's been about 2 years now. And it's a dream studio for me. I mean, I designed exactly what I wanted. It really sort of resembles a California studio from, say, the 70s. Meaning, in the materials and the gear. It's a lot of wood and cork and glass and stone. There's a great selection of vintage equipment, microphones, the console, mic preamplifiers, EQs, reverb plates, great collection of guitars and amps and synthesizers and keyboards and drums, and the place has a really beautiful, even sound, so it makes it really easy to record. Black and White America, to me, really reflects my life, who I am, how I grew up, what I saw. My parents' situation in being an interracial couple in the early 60s. And it also deals with where we are today. The song was inspired by a documentary that I'd seen where there was this group of Americans who were stuck in their old thoughts and what they'd been taught. They did not approve of where America has gone. They obviously did not approve of having an African American president. And they were full of hatred. They even went as far as to say that they were going to make sure that the president didn't live long, that they were going to make sure it was taken care of, and there were plans and all of this sort of stuff. But what sort of shocked me as a person who doesn't think about race is that people still think this way, you know? And obviously I know that people do think that way, but to hear it like that on television in this documentary just kind of threw me for a moment and made me think about it. And the chorus of Black and White America is a rebuttal to that documentary. And then the verses, one went with Martin Luther King and his whole mission and reason, and then to my parents and sort of what they'd been through. I stand by everything that I've done, and I do love everything I've done, or I wouldn't have put it out. But there's just something about this record that really touches me, and I feel like it really represents where I've been, where I am, and where I'm going. There's something about it that sort of completes the circle, and I'm really happy with it. Really happy. I'm really satisfied creatively. You know, I took the time to do what I needed to do. I recorded as much music as it took for me to sort of complete the spectrum, meaning I felt like I really needed I needed more songs to complete the picture, because stylistically my album is all over the place. All my albums are. And I wanted to touch on as many styles and sounds as I could. So there's 16 tracks on the album, although it fits on one CD. I view this as a double album because I still think in terms of vinyl. It's just something that's never left me. So for me, this is 2 pieces of vinyl, 4 songs per side, and which we're going to be putting out as well. But it's a double record, and that's what I needed. What influenced me the most during the making of this album was not thinking about it, not worrying about it, not going where my mind would necessarily tell me to go, but going where the creative spirit took me. You know, you can have an idea of where you think you're going to go, and you can say, well, I'm going to make this kind of album, and this is what I see for myself. And the creative spirit can just take you in a completely different direction. So for me, it's all about being relaxed, enjoying every day, enjoying the beauty of where I was, enjoying people, and just letting the music come. That's it. I'm inspired by music every day, all kinds, doesn't matter. I mean, I just came from a photo shoot and we were listening to, music from the 40s. I mean, I love music, and there's actually a lot of really cool new things that are coming out. I think the directions that a lot of bands are going in and artists are going in are really interesting, and our reaction to the way things have been for the last, say, 10 years. And I like that very much. There's a lot more character coming back into music and individualism, because things have become so homogenized. But I really, it's so hard to answer who and what, because I truly listen to everything, from opera to, Little Dragons. I mean, everything.